Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MISAD Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Thousands in Somali capital march in defiance after attack. Swedish police station damaged in explosion. And moving on to our details, starting with Mogadishu. Thousands of people took to the streets of Somalia's capital on Wednesday in a show of defiance after the country's deadliest attack that killed more than 300. Crowds marched through Mogadishu amid tight security towards the site of the attack, which also wounded nearly 400, with the scores remain missing. Police officials said at least 3 people, including a pregnant woman, are injured after security forces opened fire while trying to disperse protesters marching towards the site of the attack. From another aspect, officials said 2 people have been arrested in connection with Saturday's massive truck bombing. In Islamabad, a Pakistani Taliban suicide bomber rammed a car into a police truck in the southwestern city of Quetta on Wednesday, killing at least 7 people. Police officials said the attack killed 5 police officials and 2 passers-by on the outskirts of the volatile frontier city. They also said another 22 people were wounded, 8 of them critically. Officials said the truck carrying the police officials was on its way to the city to drop them at their posts when the suicide bomber rammed into the vehicle, ripping it apart. On the other side of the world, Spain's Prime Minister urged Catalonia's leaders to back down from their bid to gain independence for the region. Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy has given Catalan President Carles Puigdemont until Thursday morning to clarify whether he is making the region independent. Rajoy on Wednesday called on Puigdemont to act sensibly and heed the interests of all Spaniards and Catalans. Addressing Puigdemont's party lawmakers in the Spanish Parliament, Rajoy said they should try to convince the Catalan leader not to make any more problems. On another front, about 50 lawmakers held up posters in Parliament demanding the release of 2 pro-Catalonia independence movement leaders, describing them as political prisoners. In Sweden, a powerful explosion caused serious damage to a police station in southern Sweden early Wednesday, but no injuries were reported. Police haven't said what caused the pre-dawn blast at the police station in Helsingborg, but the country's top police official called it an attack against society. The explosion caused considerable damage to the police station's entrance and shattered dozens of windows in nearby buildings. No one has claimed responsibility for the blast about 50 kilometers north of Malmö, Sweden's 3rd largest city, while the explosion wasn't being investigated as terrorism. In Lisbon, the Portuguese government minister in charge of emergency services resigned on Wednesday after 106 people were killed in wildfires this year. Interior Minister Constança Urbano de Sousa tendered her resignation and Prime Minister Antonio Costa accepted it, according to what the government announced. Urbano de Sousa said in her resignation letter that she wanted to quit after 64 people were killed in wildfire 4 months ago, but Costa asked her to stay. But she repeated her request after 42 people died in another spate of wildfires last weekend. And finally, senior officials from the United States, South Korea and Japan reaffirmed their country's commitment on Wednesday to finding a diplomatic solution to the threat posed by North Korea's rapidly expanding nuclear program. After meeting with his South Korean and Japanese counterparts in Seoul, U.S. Deputy Secretary of State John Sullivan said the U.S. continues to view diplomacy, supported by pressure and sanctions, as the primary means for solving the North Korean nuclear program. Sullivan added that despite that approach, the Trump administration will continue to keep all options on the table because the regime in Pyongyang is unpredictable and non-transparent. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Thousands in Somali capital march in defiance after attack. Swedish police station damaged in explosion. we reached the end of our Mitzad bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us.